you can do is just tell the truth and trust in the American people that over time they're going to know what the truth is.
Yes, it is time for the truth. Right here, right now. This is the Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives. With your host, John Matthews.
The latter-day prophet.
Baying against the hypocrisies of our time.
And Joe Hakos.
You want answers.
I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
The Conservative Syndicate is comprised of some of the most informed pundits and activists available today. Together, we seek to tear down the imaginary wall, a separation between church and state through education, information, and engagement on the religion of politics and the politics of religion. And now, your host on the globally syndicated Conservative Syndicate, John Matthews and Joe Hakos.
Hey, and how we doing out there all across this great land of ours and around the world? It is that time. It's time for the Conservative Syndicate, and we are so glad to be back on the air. It's been a really sporadic week here at the Conservative Syndicate with things going on behind the scenes, but we're glad to be back on the air today. We're glad to have you with us, and I just really appreciate your patience and loyalty here at the Conservative Syndicate. I want to bring on my co-host right away here, Joe Hakos. How are you doing tonight, Joe?
I'm doing good, John. It's a great day today. I was able to put my shoes and socks on by myself today.
Wow, that's a big step, huh?
Well, if you've ever been in a position where it hurts to be able to do that, and then when you can finally get through whatever and get it done, It's a big day today, man.
Yeah, I just heard it. Somebody sent me a joke today, and I think it just fits what you just said so well. The question before a man was, is it more painful to get kicked in the testicles or to have a baby?
Yeah, I read that. Yes, I know where you're going.
I thought it was hilarious. I thought it took me 5 minutes of laughing to get over it. But as he said, nobody's ever asked to be kicked in the testicles more than once. So.
More than once. It's like, so yeah, guess what? Uh-huh.
Of course, I once heard Carol Burnett describe giving birth as taking your lips and pulling it over the top of your head. So, I'm glad I never would have. I'm glad that's why I wouldn't want to be a woman just for that reason. I think, I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah. Which brings us to the restroom question. Why do you want to be in her, you pervert? That ain't about because it's such a great thing. Enjoy what you have. Yeah. It's really easy to figure out what's going on. You just kind of look on and check out the underwear.
Uh-huh.
You got something hanging there, buddy. You know what you are. If you don't have something, you know what you are. It's really simple. None of this I self-identify. No bullcrap.
Yeah. Hey, I'm not real crazy these days about spending a lot of time talking about the GOP campaign right now.
I'm not real enthused about it either.
But something triggered in my mind the other night. I saw something. Let me start it out this way. Okay. I saw a movie the other night that I've never seen before. The Manchurian Candidate.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I guess there's 3 versions of this out here. The original version back in the 50s, which I've never seen. And then there was another version in the 60s, I think, when Frank Sinatra was the star or something like that. Angela Lansbury played the mother of the candidate or something like that. And then there was a version in 2004 with Denzel Washington as the sergeant, Bennett Marco, I think his name was. And I watched that the other night on TV. I just happened to be surfing through the channels, and it showed up on a channel. And so I watched it. And it was kind of eerie to me. It's not the idea that we have some candidates running around with implants in their brain or anything like that. But I guess the 3 versions that they've had out have all been a little bit the 2 second adaptations, the adaptations of these movies they've changed the plot a little bit in terms of the characters and what they really were. And the one with Denzel Washington was probably pretty close to something we could go today. And the first thing that struck me as eerie was that this presidential campaign behind it was happening in 2008. The movie came out in 2004, and they kind of set it in the future in 2008, meaning the election year, the year that Barack Obama was elected. So that kind of caught my eye right off the top. But it wasn't so much the idea of having some candidate who'd been conditioned and had implants in his brain and, was being programmed to take over the country and this, that, and that. The plot behind it was secondary to me. What I found intriguing was the representation of the establishment in the movie. Meryl Streep plays a senator, and her son, Richard Shaw, who is the Manchurian candidate, she knowingly submits her son to be, conditioned like this, to have the implant put in and everything, because as a liberal Democrat, she thought it best to, in her words, save the world. Okay? And the interaction with the establishment types, the people that knew what was going on, I found very intriguing. And I thought, wow, maybe that's why they're so upset with Donald Trump, because Donald Trump was one of the players. I do believe that about him. I do not believe he is outsider. He's an outsider. I don't believe he's absent of any political knowledge and that he's some kind of newcomer, this newbie who's just stepping on the scene because he just wants to make America great. I don't believe that for a minute. I believe he's an establishment player, and the reason the establishment is upset or paranoid about him winning is because they know he's a player.
Yeah, he knows the game.
And he knows the game, and he can use that game to whatever, whichever way he wants to. He's got to have dirt on some of these people.
Yeah, just look at it. If he knows the game and he gets into this position, then he can really, really hurt or not hurt or advance people or not advance people, quote unquote. It really becomes interesting in that aspect because, and let's just face it. Do you think he's a loose cannon sometimes?
Oh, well, yeah, obviously.
Yeah, just observation alone would tell you, yeah.
Yeah. Not only is he, the way I see it is he is a loose cannon and Hillary Clinton is bat crap crazy. So between either one of these people get in, it could go anyway. The thing is, Meryl Streep, just even the costumes and everything, the way that they dressed her and stuff, it's like, I'm looking at Hillary Clinton here.
I knew that's where you were going with that. And don't think for 1 minute that was not unintentional.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of like that TV series they have out here, Madam Secretary.
Oh yeah, come on.
And the way they counter that is Tia Leone is Leone, I think her name is. She's a good-looking babe, So we'll make her so we don't have to think about Hillary Clinton as she really is, which is the Wicked Witch of the West kind of thing,
This could be not to take it always. I end up taking stuff always to Star Trek when that one thing where they gave the illusion. The one that was on that desolate planet, and she was really beautiful and everything, but in reality, she was all beat up and from the crash that occurred.
Oh yeah.
And there's people didn't know how they didn't know how to put her back together, so she had this big huge hump and everything, and she's all deformed and everything else. But they gave her the illusion of beauty.
Oh yeah, and that was because the captain in that one, Captain Pike, I believe his name was. Yeah. He was all beat up and everything. So yeah, there's a good analogy of liberalism. We look at what really is, and we imagine something as we want it to be. Yeah, that's a very good analogy. And boy, that goes back a ways. I think that was their pilot show, wasn't it? The very first one they ever did.
It could have been. I don't know. I'm not that old.
Well, I'm a bit of a Trekkie, so I know that. Yeah, that was the pilot show.
I never watched the show.
You never watched the show? Oh, how un-American!
But somehow I know stuff about it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, Gene Roddenberry, he played out a lot of political, ideological thoughts throughout that series. They had some,
and the monkeys were coming on too. Okay?
Yeah. But like I said the other day, my favorite's still the Deep Space Nine because I just love a little soap opera out in the quadrant Zulu Alpha or whatever it is. It doesn't matter where you go in the universe, there's drama. That's kind of neat. That's a human aspect of who we are. You can be a Vulcan who only thinks logically, but there's still drama.
Hey, as long as you party like a Vulcan, that's all right, dude.
Well, you know what? We're going to go to our first break here. When we come back, I'll kind of give you an outline here where we're going to go today. It's going to be another Bash Hillary day, I think. I just kind of got that in my vein, in my blood here, because I'm still waiting for the guys on the GOP side to figure out who's the adult in the room. So we'll just kind of ignore that.
We could be all year.
Yeah, while they hash it out here. But I do, when we come back, though, I do want to talk just a moment about this situation in Colorado. This is hilarious. I am laughing my proverbial butt off listening to people try to reason this thing out. Like, everybody's just waking up and finding out Colorado did something a little bit different than everybody else, and nobody seemed to know except Ted Cruz. It seems like.
Yeah, they only sent the memo to him.
Yeah. So anyway, we're going to go to break. When we come back, we'll continue. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with my co-host, Joe Hakos, and we'll be right back. Stay with us.
You can catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-790-5960. That's 1-800-790-5960. Again, 1-800-790-5960. Call now.
Prices are for base buildings only. May not be available in some areas. Attention business owners, do you want a stimulus package that really works? Before you spend thousands of dollars more than you should on your next building project, listen to this. General Steel has a stimulus package designed to help you save as much as half the cost of conventional construction on your next building. As much as half. That's right, General Steel can save you thousands of dollars with a pre-engineered steel building designed for your business or church. How about a 50 by 100 foot building for under $30,000? So don't pay thousands more than you should without calling General Steel first and save as much as half the cost and time of conventional construction. With the projected demand for steel in Japan and China, prices may be skyrocketing.
877-927-3360. 877-927-3360. 877-927-3360.
Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification require. Cancellation fee, auto pay, and paperless billing and other restrictions apply. If you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Only Dish brings you the best in entertainment for less than $20 a month. Cut the cable and don't get directed. Switch to Dish because at just $19.99, Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. It's so simple. The same channels cost less with Dish. So since you can't see the difference, don't pay the difference. Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Get premium movie channels free for 3 months, starting at just $19.99. Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. Call now to save with Dish. Dial 1-800-600-1645. That's 1-800-600-1645. The same channels for less than $20 a month. Dish. Call 1-800-600-1645 for details.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live, daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you'll get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decision concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosalive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosalive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
Hey, we're back, and you're listening to the Conservative Syndicate. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with my co-host, Joe Hakos, and we are... I just want to spend a little bit of time talking about this situation in Colorado. And because this so well exemplifies the Gruber theorem that I often promote on this show, and that is the stupidity of the American voter. And in this case, it seems like the stupidity of the candidate running. I'm not really sure how to phrase that other than to say it seems Donald Trump is trying to give this impression that he was blindsided and basically, what's the word, cold-cocked, by the results in the Colorado caucus, and in which he lost all 34 delegates. The first thing, I guess, right off the top of my head is, if Trump is so assured of winning, and right now, mathematically, he certainly stands the best chance of accomplishing the goal of getting 1,237 delegates.
1237.
Yeah, I mean, he could. I'm not going to say he can't. But the way things are going right now, and especially with Kasich hanging around, draining the cesspool out little by little, the thing is that's the first thing that got me. It's like, this is 34 delegates. What's the big deal? But the second thing is that it seems that nobody, including the people of Colorado, had any idea how their caucus was operating. And now we've got all these people, they want to start, get this, they want to do a protest on Friday. And it's called Colorado Votes Matter. Believe it or not.
Come on, dude, really?
And I'm like, okay. And so the media, of course, is playing this up. And this is the whole point of Trump even doing this.
Yep.
It gets him right back into the media spotlight, even though he's lost. It puts all the light shines right back on him. And he's got all the media attention. Fox News is just drooling at the mouth. I don't know what the other people are doing because I don't listen to them. But it's fun to watch them all squirm over Fox News. And Hannity, the day before yesterday, I think it was, I caught about 5-10 minutes of him talking to Reince Priebus. And for the first time since I've seen or listened to Reince Priebus, he actually made sense. He said, hey, it's not like anybody didn't know. They should have known. We've all known this is the way it was going to come out. And that these delegates, basically, I guess in Colorado, what they did was they have 34 uncommitted delegates. And it was like a straw poll between the delegates. And that's how they came up with their determination as to where the delegates were going to go. Ted Cruz worked it. Nobody else did. He ends up with the 34 delegates.
Wow, that's amazing. He actually went out and earned it?
Yeah. And I guess Trump just thought one of two things. He thought that they were uncommitted delegates and he'd pick them up in Cleveland, or he just ignored the state looking for, a bigger piece of the pie somewhere, and is just upset, just because he lost. He got wiped out. He got schlonged, if we can use that phrase. And,
why not? He would.
Yeah. So it's like, what's the big deal here? I don't know who I'm laughing more at. Trump for now sounding like some redundant idiot, something that him and his campaign should have known about, or the voters who all of a sudden, wait a minute, we don't get to vote? Like, did you not know that? I mean, has there been publicity going around the state saying, "Hey guys, remember not to vote"? Or I don't understand that. It's all
the establishment. That's what they did. They were running ads. Hey, if you wanted to go vote, don't bother. We're not going to let you vote this time. What? No, bull crap. This, all this whining and crap. Look, they want this guy. This guy has so much on the ball. He's the greatest freaking businessman that ever had the sunshine on his face in the world. He's the greatest ever. It's huge. He built this huge business. It's so great. Everything's great. And yet he can't figure this out. And this is the guy we're going to have be president? Really? Yeah, and then all he does is blame everybody else for his failure.
Yeah, now I'm trying to figure out
It sounds real familiar to me. I think there's a guy that does that right now that sits in the White House.
Yeah. And that's my point. Is that there's nothing, all I can tell people that want to debate with me about Donald Trump is, you know what? Okay, so he rocked the boat. He's been able to rock the vote. He's been able to get people up and active again. You brought up, I think, earlier in the week the fact, and I've kind of added it to my talking points. I don't care what Trump supporters think if they're only coming out for the first time, or if they've been sitting on their asses for the last 3 or 4 election cycles. We needed you back in 2008. We wouldn't be having this problem today if something would have been in 2008. Now, that doesn't mean we would not have a problem if we had a John McCain or a Mitt Romney in the White House. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the problem would be a little bit more easy. It would be easier to deal with than what we're dealing with now, because now what it's looking like, if the numbers are really true, or even close to being true, when this general election rolls around in July, we're going to have a hell of a fight on our hands to keep another Obama term out. And if that's the case, whether it be Hillary Clinton, Uncle Bernie, or whoever they pull out of the garbage bin to throw up there at the last minute, if Hillary starts wearing a permanently emblazed orange jumpsuit.
That ain't happening, John.
Well, I agree. I don't think it's going to happen. What I'm really hoping for is that the FBI just recommends. If the FBI recommends indictment, that, I think, will be enough to stir the establishment on the left to get up and say, you know what, we just can't risk having her in the White House with this hanging over her head. And
okay, so they're going to have Bernie?
I don't think they're going to take Bernie either. I think the rumors are, and I'm going to go back here. I'm going to kind of go on a bit of a limb here. They'll either pull in Joe Biden, they'll talk Elizabeth Warren into coming in, or they'll pull up my dark horse. Remember old Juan Castro?
Oh, no, not him.
Yeah, or Julian Castro. Which one? He's one of the Castro brothers. It's Julian and Juan. Julian, I think. Julian Castro, because they're already floating him out there as a VP nominee. So I think that could happen. Maybe they could coax Michael Bloomberg back into it or something. I just think that if all the FBI has to do at this point is recommend something, I don't expect the Attorney General to cooperate. I don't expect Obama to cooperate. He's already let the cat out of the bag. She didn't really do anything wrong. It's not like super secret probation. It
was really that secret. It was secret, but there's other secret.
Yeah. There's
I get that when I went and got my clearance and had to go ahead, and do the computer-based training for all that and answer the questions right and all that kind of stuff. I never remembered that. It just said secret, top secret. Didn't say and really, really secret.
Yeah. It's kind of secret things we don't really want you to know, and things that you can't know or it would be harmful.
Special access programs. I get that. That's always been that. But just to downplay it again, as we said the last show, just to downplay it like that, it's just really.
Well, what's spooky with me when I was they were clearing me for my clearance. I didn't go to any class on it. What they did with other than when I first stepped into school, and they said, okay, these are the classifications. This is what it means, and we will hang you like bacon. If you screw up, the kind of stuff.
And so you had to be able to recognize what the document was. But it ain't like it gets to the point where you're the one creating the information. Now, hello. It comes down to responsibility. And, gee, if he's not going to hold her responsible, then who the hell will?
Well, I know. I'll tell you what spooked me about getting a clearance was when I went home on leave. I went through boot camp. I went through 8 months of what they call AFAM school. Mm-hmm. And then they sent me home on leave because they were trying to modify my orders. They were going to put me in a squadron, but the school I was at wanted me as a teacher. So they said, we're going to try to get your orders modified. So that I was kind of like in limbo. So they said, well, why don't you take leave? I said, okay. So I took leave and I went home.
Yeah.
And I got home, and what really spooked me was I'm seeing all my friends, all my buddies, the people I hung out with and everything else, and they're all telling me, what's the FBI checking up on you for?
Yeah, because they come around and they do
what? She goes, man, we had these
man.
people come over to our house and ask questions about you and this, that, and the other. I'm like, oh, man, oh, really? Oh, that's kind of cool,
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, but it was kind of spooky. It was a little bit spooky,
They did that for Hillary and Barack. I wonder if the FBI came around and asked their friends about him. I sincerely doubt it.
Oh, no. I mean, well, who are you going to find that's going to be honest enough to answer about her anyway?
Did Mr. Obama actually go to your living room and start his campaign, his political career out in your living room? Did that really happen, sir?
Yeah. Well, let's talk to Sidney Blumenthal. Hey, is she really a nice and honest person? Oh, I know. Let's ask Chelsea, who says because she's a grandmother now, she's just the cat's meow.
Oh yes, all grandmothers are nice like that.
Yeah. So anyway, this protest coming up on Friday. I think this is humorous, but I also see that Trump is good at this. I mean, you got to hand it to him. He lives in that parallel universe of Barack Obama. He knows how to use the social media. He knows how to get the attention that he wants. And even when he's completely screwing up, I really believe he could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue, New York, shoot somebody, and be able to convince his followers that somebody else pulled the trigger. Yeah. Oh, you know what he could do? He could tell everybody he's the Manchurian candidate. That's what he could do.
I don't know. Harris did it. It's just ridiculous to have this go on and have the people. I just had this. Believe the madness. They just believe it. It's like, what? Really? Well, okay, then it's you know what? It's Ted Cruz's fault that his freaking own kids can't vote for him in New York.
Well, that's the thing that's really grabbing me here, and this is why he's doing it. He's blaming Ted Cruz for rigging the election. I'm like, how can that be? What did Ted Cruz go into Colorado and say, hey, guys, these are the rules?
Yeah, that's my point. It's like, and people are actually just out there beating the bushes about it, actually setting places on fire about it. And it's like, what? Do you hear what you're saying?
Yeah. I mean, let's just reason. If that was the case, why isn't Cruz winning? If Cruz is out there rigging the election, why is he behind? He should already have 1,237 candidates.
He should have it, and Kasich should be actually drinking beers with Lindsey Graham then.
Yeah, or wine. Lindsey Graham, he's high class. He drinks the wine.
Or maybe then he can be with wine. I don't know. Maybe I'll look up Boehner while he's over there in Ohio. Who knows? I don't know. Anyway, but still, if it was true, it'd already be over, and then Fox would be like, well, we're going to have to get behind some other candidate.
Yeah.
And I'm here to tell you, Fox is behind. They're fully behind a Trumpster.
Right. Yeah.
They can't go a single segment without having the Trumpster on.
No, but the stupidity of this whole thing in terms of the voters, because this is where the blame always
said too. Yeah.
It's where it ultimately always ends up. It's in the voters. You guys in Colorado didn't know what was going on. You start this organization last night. Last night they started this organization, Colorado Votes Matter. And now it's like, okay, this is after the caucus and you're just now figuring out what was going on. You know what? You deserve what you get.
Yeah, where the hell were you 8 months ago?
Yeah. Where were you a year? Where were you back in 2012 when they made these rules and then made changes in 2014 and then more changes? Wasn't anybody paying attention? Did nobody get the memo? you know.
No, they were too busy filling up their freaking bongs, dude.
Yeah, that's it. Now there's an argument for you. That's probably what's happened. You guys have just smoked yourself into oblivion, and word. What can I tell you?
Like, whoa, dude, slow down. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, we're parked.
Yeah, okay, guys, we gotta go to a break here. When we come back, we'll continue. Well, we're not going to continue this discussion, but we will continue a discussion. Okay, stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away.
You can catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification require cancellation fee, auto pay, and paperless billing and other restrictions apply. If you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Only Dish brings you the best in entertainment for less than $20 a month. Cut the cable and don't get directed. Switch to Dish because at just $19.99, Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. It's so simple. The same channels cost less with Dish. So since you can't see the difference, don't pay the difference. Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Get premium movie channels free for 3 months, starting at just $19.99. Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. Call now to save with Dish. Dial 1-800-600-1645. That's 1-800-600-1645. The same channels for less than $20 a month. Dish. Call 1-800-600-1645 for details.
Attention taxpayers! If you've received a notice from the IRS or state, do not ignore it. It's also a big mistake to try and handle your tax problem on your own. If you owe back taxes, it's a fact that the government has the power to take everything you own, including your home, business, wages, savings, and your freedom. But here's the good news. There's a special toll-free tax hotline set up especially for you. This tax hotline will tell you about new programs that are geared to help you dramatically settle, reduce, or eliminate what you owe. But you have to call now. Take down this number or put it in your cell phone. But call 866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959. When you call, you get free information on how you can reduce or eliminate back taxes, including penalties and interest. You can also be helped if you have unfiled returns, a tax lien, wage garnishment, bank levy, or if you've been entered into a payment plan but can't make the payments. Don't make the big mistake in thinking you can ignore or handle your tax problem on your own. You can stop the collection process immediately. Call this special tax hotline today for free info at 1-866-761-0959. That's 1-866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959.
Term life insurance. It can be a powerful way to protect your assets and your family. You work hard to earn and save your money to build a nest egg for the future. Don't let it get wiped out because you didn't plan ahead. Take the time now and make a small investment in $500,000 or more in quality term life insurance. Call the Term Lifeline and let us shop the best companies to give you the lowest rates. We specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. Ask about some of our 10 and 20-year fixed rate plans with guaranteed rates. Call the Term Lifeline right now for your free insurance quote. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609. You owe it to yourself to protect your family and your assets. Make term life insurance part of that plan. Call the Term Lifeline right now. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609.
Folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live, daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you'll get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decision concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops?
Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by CitizensUnited.org.
We're back. This is the Conservative Syndicate, Real Conservative Talk from Real Conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, mad prophet of the airways, along with my co-host, Joe. You can't handle the truth, Hakos. Hey, Joe, speaking of protests, you were saying something here back and forth, as we're shooting back and forth here, about protesters getting paid $15 an hour? Or is it they were protesting not getting paid $15 an hour? Joe, you there?
Oh, yeah, I'm here. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, you sent me a note here about protesters today. There were protesters out there today. Something about, what are they?
They're out there running around, doing the usual stuff. Of course, there's no unions involved in any of this as they're running around with union-made signs. You go, we can't live off of $15 an hour. We need to get 15. We can't live off of $8 an hour. I'm working some warehouse job, and I'm making $8 an hour, and I just can't afford it no more.
Okay, and where are these protests taking place at? I missed it.
There's Chicago.
Oh, well, where else? The protest capital of the world.
And I'm listening to this. One of the organizers of this particular group go. This is what I want to. This is what I want to hear, Hillary, and that scumbag from the Northeast. I can't remember where Bernie's from. I don't really give a crap. He must be from Moscow. I don't really give a crap where he's from.
Yeah.
But 3 points that she made, and she's like, the government owes people these 3 things. It owes people education, it owes people shelter, and it owes people health care. And at $8 some an hour, you just can't get there. And we're wasting all this money on military and everything else that we should be able to just do this. And I'd like to hear how the hell we do this. Well, first of all, where is it that the government owes you an education? Where is it the government owes you a roof over your head? And obviously, we've done the healthcare thing ad nauseum. Where is it that the government owes you healthcare?
Wow. All right, now, there is. It shows you how quick I can get out of the loop here. Are they are supposed to be debating today, right? Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton, I think in Brooklyn or something.
Seriously?
Yeah, I heard something about that.
Wow. Okay, great. Are they actually going to get in a big vat of Jell-O and start to really debate, or are they just going to sit there and bore people to death with their stupid, inane answers about how the Republicans suck and the last 8 years have sucked it, but they had nothing to do with it?
Oh yeah, and all this crime and everything, this massive incarceration that disproportionately targets the black community.
Yeah,
it came from Bill Clinton's anti-crime bill back in 1994. And I think it's rather telling here. This is a question that maybe we should sometime research. How many cities have massive protests where the Republican is the governor or the mayor? That would be an interesting question, because I don't remember hearing of any. I don't remember hearing of any, at least recently. But boy, when we Chicago, the capital of protesting, also the biggest Democratic stronghold probably in the entire country, outside of maybe Washington D.C. itself. D.C. I mean, they reelected, what was that guy's name? Marion Barry. Barry, yeah, the cokehead, the crackhead.
Yeah,
all that kind of stuff.
Hey, let's not pick on the guy. I think he just recently died.
Yeah. Well. That's what happens. That's what happens when you smoke crack.
Well, I mean, I don't think it was from that, but it might have had. Eventually it would caught up to him. But yeah, I think. You can go to Detroit. That's French for Detroit for you out there that don't understand it. But Detroit's been under the Democratic rule for 50 some years.
Yeah. Well, it's
it's just the model of community that you'd want to be at as people have left Detroit in massive waves.
Oh, yeah.
Just ridiculous what's going on. Any of these big, large cities, I guarantee it. If you got an issue going on, well, look at your favorite Democratic Party, because that's what's going on. Like they are so perfect, and all you hear about is the Republicans are screwing up in Colorado. There was a caucus in Hawaii, and guess who won that?
There was what?
There was a caucus in Hawaii. Guess who won that?
On which side?
Well, the Republicans.
Trump had to win that one.
Yes, of course, but you don't hear him bitching about that caucus, though, huh? He figured that one out, but he couldn't figure out Colorado.
Yeah, and you know what? You know how they did in Hawaii? It was just the people the last person standing after their Mai Tai contest got all the votes.
Or you get thrown into a volcano. I can't remember how that works out in Hawaii, but yeah, I mean, so it's like he could figure out some of the rules, but he couldn't figure out all the rules.
Right.
And he's only running for, I don't know, what do they call what's that euphemism they call the presidency of the United States? The highest office in the land, the most important thing in the world, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
You don't learn the rules. You didn't. It's huge. You didn't hire anybody to learn the rules? Come on, Don.
Well, I you know what? I'm suspecting here when this all comes out in the wash, and eventually somewhere it will, it'll be some third-tier aide out there who, after the election, will spill it out. I'm sure, my gut check tells me that Trump thought and was told, perhaps, was advised, these are uncommitted delegates, we don't have to worry about them.
Okay, great.
And it's like, we'll either pick them up at the convention, or they're going to love you anyway, Donald. They love you. They all love you. What manager doesn't go to his star and say, oh, everybody loves you? I mean, because you're patting his hand, you're paying him or her to be your campaign manager or your agent in this case, because this is all Hollywood anyway. So, so you're saying, okay, yeah, you're gonna take on somebody as your client, and then to tell them that they're a loser? No, you're gonna be stroking them all the time.
Yeah, those pants look good, Mr. Trump.
Even though they're on back, you could start a real trend having them on backwards with the zipper in the back.
Yeah, you can say that's how you go ahead and announce yourself. Let's think about this, okay? How sad is this? I mean, for crying out loud, let's extrapolate this out. He's talking to whoever, and he's, as our elected representative, the guy that's, represents America everywhere. Really?
Yeah.
Come on. Seriously.
Right.
He's going to hire the right people to recommend Supreme Court justices then, right?
Yeah. And his vice president nominee is not going to be anything like him. That's what he said. Whoever I choose for vice president isn't going to be like me. Well, there's nobody like you, Donald. I mean,
it's going to be a llama or something. What is it going to be? A toad? What?
Hey, but back to what you were saying earlier, as you were talking about the situation here with the idea of the minimum wage and all the liberals out there want everything given to them, and Bernie's out there telling them that he's like the guy running for class president in junior high. Elect me, and I'll put Coke machines in every hallway.
And ice cream will be available every lunch period.
That's right, and nothing but cheeseburgers and fries at the cafeteria, that kind of thing. And not remembering or not even acknowledging that he doesn't have any decision making power when it comes to that. And how are you going to do it? Now. Well, anyway, as you were talking here, I was just kind of scanning out here in cyberspace, and I ran across this article here, and it's by Vox. I love Vox, not Fox News, but Vox, very liberal rag, and got some really, really just staunch out there Ezra Klein type liberals writing for them.
Or Oscar X-ray.
Yeah. People that have had complete and total lobotomies, and they put them to work under Goodwill, the Goodwill campaign. Anyway, here we go. Hillary Clinton is explaining her concept, or how she approaches her progressive policy, which, by the way, we never knew existed until this election, okay? Because she is a progressive, but she's a progressive that likes to get things done.
She wants to be your champion.
Yeah, differing, I guess, from a progressive that doesn't want to get things done, which I guess was implying that Bernie Sanders is a progressive that can't get things done. But he's not a progressive; he's a socialist. So let's keep it all straight. But here it is. she's talking about how she approaches her policy decisions, and she compared it to people at a dinner and who pays for the lunch or who pays for the dinner, who picks up the tab. And what she says is that men should always pay, you should always split, and the person doing the asking out should always pay or whatever. So she's given 3 different scenarios, okay? Bill splitting. It's about men always paying, or I guess if you're going Dutch, you should always split it, or the person doing the asking out should always pay. Now, that's the thing. Now she says, I'm more partial to the always split the ticket, always split the bill, which I doubt has ever happened in the case of Hillary Clinton.
Oh, God, no, please.
At least for the last 35 years, since she hasn't had to drive anywhere to eat, I'm sure she doesn't pick up the tab.
And she can't use the bus or the subway, so how the hell is she getting around?
Yeah, well, anyway, when we come back from the break, I'm going to explain to you this analogy that she gave as to how she approaches her policy. And I'm just interested. I'm reading this as I'm reading it. I haven't looked at this at all. We're ad-libbing here. We're going shooting from the hip here. But it's not hard to figure out what liberals are doing anyway. So we'll take a shot at this when we come back. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away. We got a lot more for you.
You can catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
Term life insurance. It can be a powerful way to protect your assets and your family. You work hard to earn and save your money to build a nest egg for the future. Don't let it get wiped out because you didn't plan ahead. Take the time now and make a small investment in $500,000 or more in quality term life insurance. Call the Term Lifeline and let us shop the best companies to give you the lowest rates. We specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. Ask about some of our 10 and 20-year fixed rate plans with guaranteed rates. Call the Term Lifeline right now for your free insurance quote. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609. You owe it to yourself to protect your family and your assets. Make term life insurance part of that plan. Call the Term Lifeline right now. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live, daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you'll get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decision concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Okay, we are back, and you are listening to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with my co-host, Joe Hakos. And I'm looking at this article here. You know, Joe started me thinking about this idea of free for all. Everything should be free. If you're an American, everything should be free. And even if you're not American, if you just happen to be hanging out here, everything should be free because, after all, that's what human rights are all about. It has nothing to do with being a citizen, nothing to do with being the Constitution or anything else. It's just the right thing to do.
Yeah, because the 14th Amendment said so. We'll make it say so.
That's right. It's the right thing to do. We got to make sure we level the playing field and everyone pays their fair share. And we got to do it now because it's been too long we've not done this. We've not embraced the idea that American values mean everything is free. And all we got to do is soak the suckers that work hard enough to earn it and give it to those who work hard at not working, if I can put it that way. I'm looking at an article here. I sent you the link, Joe. I hope you got it.
I'm looking at it, too.
Okay.
I'm already about to choke on it.
Okay. Hillary Clinton. This is on Vox. Vox Policy and Politics. Hillary Clinton's answer about who should pay for dates explains her entire political philosophy, written by Dylan Matthews. I'm going to one day make it a point. My bucket list is to look up all the people in the country with the same name as mine, and those who are liberals, I'm going to end it for them. Okay, that's my bucket list. All right, now, starting with Chris Matthews, and then Dylan Matthews will definitely be second on my list here. Hillary Clinton's comments about how people on dates should split the bill made an interview with Praki Gupta for Cosmopolitan. Now, there's another reputable publication.
Yes, because that's where I go to get all my freaking stuff. It means a lot, very important stuff to me. I go to Cosmo first.
Oh, no, I go to National Enquirer first, and then I go to the Cosmopolitan, though. That's where I get my confirmation. I use it as my backup. Okay, now. Okay, bill splitting. She's talking about bill splitting, okay? Bill splitting is an issue where people have weirdly doctrinaire down-the-line positions, whether it's men should always pay, you should always split, the person doing the asking out should always pay, or whatever. Okay, I adhere to, if you ask me out to dinner, I expect you to pay. Okay, unless you say, let's go out to dinner, and we'll pay for our own. Okay, that kind of thing. But most of the time, like when I ask somebody to go out to dinner, we assume, Lourdes and I assume, we're paying the bill, and vice versa. I've never gone out with anybody that asked me out to dinner and said, hey, by the way, you're going to pick up the tab. Okay? That's a liberal trait. Okay? You're lucky that I'm here, that I accept that. You're lucky you accepted my invitation to come to dinner, therefore you should pay for it. There's the liberal mentality. Okay, now. Okay. All right, now, some of these positions make more sense than others, the article says. I'm partial to always split. I guess this is the writer. But they all have their difficulties. If you always split, how do you account for discrepancies in disposable income, especially in heterosexual relationships?
There's the part I was starting to freak out about. Excuse me?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah. Well, I don't understand that. If you don't have disposable income, you shouldn't be out there in the first place, right?
Thank you. Or you should be, it's like saying that, well, if you can't make a living on your $8 and some odd dollar an hour job, maybe you should do what?
Yeah.
Get a job?
Yeah.
To go on with your 8 some hour, or maybe you could get paid more if you just take advantage of the opportunities that are in front of you at McDonald's, because there's a management training program, for crying out loud, people. That's all right. Hey, the kiosks are coming, baby. It's okay.
Yeah, I get it. But here's the thing. Let's go back to this just for a second here.
Sorry.
No problem. Men should always pay. You should always split the bill, or the person that does the asking out should always pay. Clinton doesn't adhere to any of those three.
No.
What she adheres to is stay attuned to what your partner's feelings are. Okay?
The more wine I give them, the more they're
I'll tell you what, if I was eating dinner or anything else with the Clintons, which would never happen.
Yeah.
But when pigs fly and I'm sitting at a dinner table with these guys, I would say, I feel that you should pay the bill. That would be my feelings. If you're so attuned to my feelings, I feel you should pay the bill. All right? After all, you got $2.5 billion sitting up there in Canada somewhere. All right? So, all right, now, it goes on to say, this is the point I wanted to get at here. It goes on to say this maps out well her approach to policy during the 2016 race. Notice not how she looks at policy prior to 2016. It's because of Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, just because of Bernie.
Yeah, she's had to adapt into this whatever feels good according to your partner. So it's kind of like what she's saying is she wants to adapt a populist view on things based on what the attitude or the feelings of the people she's talking to. Now, there's your typical definition of establishment. Okay, I am what I need to be on any given day. But by the way, you'll never really know what I truly think or what I truly believe. It's just, or what I'm truly going to do, for that matter. It's just a matter, I'm talking to you right now. It's kind of like getting on the subway after you figure out how to swipe the card 6 times. And you're standing there talking to people in the subway, and you're trying to act like you're one of them. Okay? And
I'm no ways tired of doing any of that there, John.
Yeah. So we know that Bernie Sanders thinks that college should be free. He thinks that there should be health care should be free. Everything should be free.
And you should have a roof over your head for free.
Right. Clinton doesn't want free college, but she wants accountability from the colleges. I don't know how that equates into who's going to pay for it.
Yeah, who's paying for it? Accountability, how? If these people actually like become something that's useful to society as a whole, then we pay for the college?
Yeah, well, I guess what it is while everybody's sitting at the table trying to figure out who's going to pick up the tab, she's trying to figure out how they constructed the menu. She's more concerned about how they made the food that they ate.
And I'm looking at the alligator with the alligator arms who's never going to pick up the tab.
Yeah, well, while she's trying to figure that out, so everybody else is like, oh, well, we're not going to get any help from her. Well, let's go ahead and pay the bill. So what she's saying, what I guess the analogy I'm trying to bring this full circle here because I know it sounds a little rambling here. But what I'm getting at is that she has no plan. She has no philosophy, per se, other than I do what I have to do at the moment I have to do it in order to win. Now,
here you go.
And what it is, and you can see this, it's plain as day, any time now you hear her open her mouth. Because she has denied so many things that in the past she was strong proponents of. Remember abortion? It was always a man and a woman. Well, Obama comes into office, he evolves, so she has to evolve. You talk about health care. Now, she once tried to float this whole idea of universal health care through government mandates and everything else. It didn't work, okay? But now it is the given. And there's certain aspects of Obamacare that she didn't have in her medical plan because she didn't feel that it was the right thing to do. For instance, the mandate that everybody had to buy it. Okay, she didn't feel that was an important thing. But now it is because that's the feelings of the people out there that like it. So everything with Hillary Clinton has been about shifting, and in actuality, what she's trying to do here is she's trying to duplicate her husband's ability to play a centralist while he screws everybody, and she's really bad at it. You would think after living with this guy for so many decades, she would have figured out how to do this. She's got to be dumb as a rock. She's got to be dumb as a rock not to know how to do this. Or the fact is what's coming out now, and this is my point. This is my main point. She has lied so often about so many things that she really doesn't know what to say anymore, and so she just responds off the cuff, and then she tries to backtrack it because she thinks she's a Clinton. She's Teflon. Nothing's going to stick.
I think there's a lot, that last one. She doesn't know who she is anymore because she's been so many things to so many people so many times that she has no idea who the hell's.
Yeah.
She looks in the mirror and she goes, "Who the hell's that?"
So I'm just kind of I'm playing around with this stuff today. I'm not really intent on making a lot of sense here. I'm just having fun. Here's the deal. Maybe Hillary Clinton is the Manchurian candidate. I don't know. Maybe they have to program her every morning. I mean, somebody that has lied. You know, you look at Barack Obama. We know this guy's a narcissistic, sociopathic liar, but He's only been doing it for a couple of decades. She's been doing it like her whole life, and I mean, she's getting there. 70 years old now. I mean, that means 50 years of her life. She's gone beyond sociopathic into psychotic. And I wonder every morning if somebody's got to turn on the tape recorder in the back of her head and ignite that implant and say, okay, this is what you're going to say today and this is what you're going to do. But maybe the implant's so old that it's not working anymore. I don't know.
The contacts aren't working anymore.
No, I'm just trying to make some sense of all this.
No, it's just a case-by-case basis, John. Come on. It's just case-by-case. She'll just look at it case-by-case. Oh, I like you, so you don't have to pay her. Well, we should. Oh, yeah. No, don't worry, man. Don't worry, Chris. We'll send the fighters in soon. Don't worry about the mortars coming down on top of your head. Oh, they're dragging you through the street now. I'm sorry. Ha, ha, ha.
Yeah, apparently everything within her mind frame at this point is that it has to be dealt case by case. And you know why you can do that? If you think that way, what that means is you can constantly change your position without being blamed.
Yep, you never had a position.
I never had a position because it's on a case by case basis. And that's what liberalism really is when you think about it. What's good today is bad tomorrow. What's bad today is good tomorrow.
Whoopsie-da.
There you go. We got to go at the top of the hour here. Time for the Edwards Notebook. We'll be back with more nonsense and maybe even some serious stuff. I'm just in a goofy mood today. We'll be back. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away.
When I was a little boy growing up in Cleveland, my dad often talked about loyalty to family and loyalty to country. Hello, I'm Ron Edwards on today's page from the Edwards Notebook. If there are inner squabbles within a family or nation, the last thing a family leader like a dad or president of a nation should ever do is publicly proclaim that they welcome criticism from one of their biggest enemies. But that is exactly what President Obama did during his visit to Cuba. To quote Mr. Obama, quote, I actually welcome President Castro commenting on areas he feels we are falling short. Unquote. I find this totally not right, considering that Cuban leaders are brutes who lock up citizens for going to church and have totally decimated the Cuban economy. Obama doesn't need any help in ruining the U.S. economy, by the way. Besides, Cuban leaders annually school Congressional Black Caucus members on how to dismantle American life through disruption and deception. Mr. Obama's faulty judgment is a sad reflection of the bad judgment that American voters made in the last presidential election. Prayerfully, the next choice made for U.S. president will actually benefit our republic, who, for starters, would be loyal to America. I'm Ron Edwards.
Catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-790-5960. That's 1-800-790-5960. Again, 1-800-790-5960. Call now.
Prices are for base buildings only. May not be available in some areas. Attention business owners, do you want a stimulus package that really works? Before you spend thousands of dollars more than you should on your next building project, listen to this. General Steel has a stimulus package designed to help you save as much as half the cost of conventional construction on your next building. As much as half. That's right, General Steel can save you thousands of dollars with a pre-engineered steel building designed for your business or church. How about a 50 by 100 foot building for under $30,000? So don't pay thousands more than you should without calling General Steel first and save as much as half the cost and time of conventional construction. With the projected demand for steel in Japan and China, prices may be skyrocketing.
877-927-3360. 877-927-3360. 877-927-3360.
Folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardosa. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardosa Live, daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you'll get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decision concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosalive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosalive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Hey, all you can do is just tell the truth and trust in the American people that over time they're going to know what the truth is.
Yes. It is time for the truth. Right here, right now. This is the Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives. With your host, John Matthews.
It's a latter-day prophet. Vying against the hypocrisies of our time.
And Joe Hakos.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
The Conservative Syndicate is comprised of some of the most informed pundits and activists available today. Together, we seek to tear down the imaginary wall, a separation between church and state through education, information, and engagement on the religion of politics and the politics of religion. And now, your host on the globally syndicated Conservative Syndicate, John Matthews and Joe Hakos.
Hey, and we're back. Hour 2 here at the Conservative Syndicate. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with my co-host, Joe Hakos. I don't know if we made a single bit of sense the last hour. Now, I'm playing it back in my head here. I'm not thinking, I'm wondering, I wonder if we made any sense at all. But,
well, we did. I think we did, John. We've explained that you can't make a living off a minimum wage, and that if you want to get $15 an hour, you need to become competitive. And maybe you should not have the unions. Because do you understand why the unions are behind the $15 an hour thing?
Oh, yeah. I mean, just think of the increase in dues that they can give their members if they could pull that off.
Well, union contracts, the wages on the union contracts are directly related to how much the minimum wage is.
Oh, okay. I was not aware of that. Since everybody I know
negotiate these things, that's when you're negotiating a wage, well, what is the standard wage for someone doing this particular task? Well, that's when they go with the minimum wage routine, and so the unions are out there doing this. Why would the unions want to? Well, again, John, you said just for membership and money.
Yeah, and see, I've always thought the wage when it comes to negotiations was always based on the cost of living in the particular state or area that they're in. But that makes sense. I mean, you got to start somewhere. You got to at least start at minimum wage. Out here in California, Governor Moonbeam just signed into law, I think going in effective 2018, I believe it is, $15 an hour. They passed it out here.
Well, by 2022, I think it was, it'll be $15 an hour there.
Okay, yeah.
So you got what, 6 years to figure it out?
Yeah. So we have 6 years for Idiocracy to complete its processing, and we'll all be working at McDonald's for $15 an hour because there'll be no other companies around. I guess I don't know. Well, we probably won't have McDonald's either.
No. What you need to do is you need to learn how to repair the machines that are going to be installed in the McDonald's.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So there's always an opportunity out there if you just look for it.
And if you want to be a McDonald's machine repairer, a hamburger repairer, then what do? You go to Bernie Sanders College, where you'll get a free education on a taxpayer dime to learn how to fix these machines.
Oh, once again, it comes down to effort. Oh my goodness, I forgot about that part.
Well, I guess my big point, the thing I was driving at, when to bring that article up, and I know we had fun with it, but the big point I was driving at is that it does underscore liberal positioning or liberal ideology, which is anything is what it is on any given day. Okay, it's kind of like if the mob is out there, and it has nothing to do with the majority. Don't believe for one moment anything in liberalism has to do with the majority. Because the one thing that irks me all the time that I see is whenever the liberals have an agenda that they want to put out there, they want to advance something for some demographic they think is going to help them shore up their voter rolls. What they do is they project through the media that the vast majority of Americans agree with them.
Yeah.
And that is seldom the case. That's one of the favorite lines, I think.
Look at healthcare, John. 80% of the American people did not want the health care bill run through. They didn't want Obamacare.
No.
A huge majority did not want it, but yet that didn't stop them.
Right, and how does the media play that? How does that come down through the Obama ranks? The media puts this out there. They don't say 70% of the Americans out there don't want Obamacare. What they say is 30% of the people that get it like it. Okay, or 50% of the people that get it like it. You know, that's the kind of thing. That's how they get their numbers. It's like everything else. You know, Obama's with Chris Wallace touting his job performance in terms of job creation. Oh, we've created all these jobs. Never bothered, and unemployment's down to 5%. Never explaining what all that means when you put the numbers together. You can make it to be I could say employment's down 1% if I wanted to. You know, unemployment's at 1%. Okay, anybody under the age of 13, I'm going to include in my statistics.
There you go.
Okay, and since nobody under the age of 13 is working, then that knocks down, or put it the other way. Let's say this: everybody over 80 that is no longer working is part of the numbers that I'm going to put together to calculate unemployment. Okay, so what I mean by that is for every person over 80, that has already done their time in the workforce. Well, they're not working.
Yeah, they're not going to be working anyway. Well, that's just the way they redefined full-time employment. Used to be 40 hours. Now it's 30.
Right.
They only did that because the 40-hour people, well, if you were a business, you were going to have to cover them with some kind of health care insurance. Now, if you're a part-time employee, they wouldn't have to do that. So they just changed it. And it used to be 30 hours or less was considered part-time employment. So we'll just change that.
Yeah, well, if
30 hours is now considered full-time employment. Oh, really?
If you were an engineer once earning $250,000 a year, and you lost your job because of Obamacare or because of the recession or anything else, for any other reason you lost your job, companies downsized, you lost your position, but you're now working at McDonald's as a machine repairman, then they created a job.
Oh, they created a job. Well, let's look at it this way. You got Hillary's out there, just like Obama. I'm going to kill the coal industry. So if you work in Kentucky, West Virginia, Tennessee, if you're in a coal mine, now part of their plan to do all this, John, is they're going to go ahead and make it easier for the transition for you, because obviously you're going to have to learn something other than mining. So they're going to help you. I don't know. Maybe you could be a small, outboard motor, boat motor repair. You know, it's really big here in the middle of Tennessee and Kentucky and West Virginia, because there are massive amounts of boats. Now, if they lived in Florida, the boat capital of the world, that might be helping you. But up there, no, I don't think so. They're going to give you send you to some other mundane training, offer it to you. You might not take it because, you don't have to, but they're going to offer it. And it's only going to be for a short, limited amount of time that they're going to help you with this transition, because you're going to be unemployed.
Well, they're going to train you to, what they'll do is train you to be a solar panel installer.
Yes.
And there you go.
Yeah, there you go. Because it worked in a mine.
Well, this is a short segment. We got to do a quick break here. When we come back, we will continue with this mad discussion today. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away.
You can catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
Prices are for base buildings only. May not be available in some areas. Attention business owners, do you want a stimulus package that really works? Before you spend thousands of dollars more than you should on your next building project, listen to this. General Steel has a stimulus package designed to help you save as much as half the cost of conventional construction on your next building. As much as half. That's right, General Steel can save you thousands of dollars with a pre-engineered steel building designed for your business or church. How about a 50 by 100 foot building for under $30,000? So don't pay thousands more than you should without calling General Steel first, and save as much as half the cost and time of conventional construction. With the projected demand for steel in Japan and China, prices may be skyrocketing.
877-927-3360. 877-927-3360. 877-927-3360.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live, daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you'll get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decision concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosalive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosalive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
Hey, we're back, and you're listening to the Conservative Syndicate, Real Conservative Talk from Real Conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with my co-host, Joe Hakos. And, we are dancing around the board today, but if you really listen, and if you believe as we do, I believe you have the capacity to understand what we're driving at here, even though it may seem a little, unconventional. Let's use that word. Unconventional, unorthodox, whatever you want to say.
Well, get over it then.
Yeah, but,
sorry.
We know the majority of our listeners are smart enough to read between the lines. If you're a liberal listening to us, just take a couple of aspirin and sit down and pay attention, and you might pick something up.
Go to sleep until next January and wake up and then wonder what's going on.
Yeah.
That would be best.
Yeah, so we don't mean to insult you.
January 17th when Barack Obama is finally out of office. Wake up then.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, and we're not trying to insult you. We're trying to take your feelings into consideration here. We just know you're wrong, okay? And that's my
speak for yourself.
And as my good friend Evan Sayet always says, it's not that liberals are wrong, it's that they're wrong as can be. So there it is. You shot me a note here about is the Trump protest starting already? I thought they were going for Friday.
No, I just saw it there. I just saw it on the TV as I was looking for the hockey game, and I was like, hey, and they had protesters trying to go through the Secret Service checkpoint. I don't know if you've ever gone to one, and I'm sure you have because you just went to one. There, I'm telling you, you have the Secret Service there, and obviously it's kind of like going through the quasi airport thing. You go through and they're wanting you and all that stuff. And there were protesters trying to get in at that time, trying to get in. Obviously, they weren't going to make it through.
Okay.
But they were making enough noise to let everybody know they were there.
Oh, okay. So is this Black Lives Matter people or is this Trump's people?
I think this is just people that don't like Donald Trump. I think there's people there, from what I saw and read, real quick. There's union people there because, and what I'm saying, New York's Donald Trump doesn't speak for New York City.
Okay, so this is an anti-Trump rally that's going on then.
Well, there's protesters at a Trump event. I think it's.
I get it.
If it's exactly a Trump event or if it's a Republican Party event and Trump's just attending.
Okay. So yeah, because I'm getting confused on the propaganda that's being disseminated out there. Trump, I know, is scheduling some big rally on Friday that's supposed to be about all this quote unquote disenfranchisement. And
what would he call it? He would call it huge.
Yeah. We call it opinion. But here, that kind of thing. So yeah, we'll have to pay attention to that and probably see how that pans out during the course of the night here. We'll talk about that maybe a little bit tomorrow.
Hey, we'll have it tomorrow. Yeah, it ought to be fun. Maybe it'll be footage.
Yeah. So let's just take a quick look here. Where we're at here in terms of the delegates on the Republican candidate side. Donald Trump, 755, Ted Cruz, 540, Marco Rubio, 167. I find it interesting that ABC didn't bother to post John Kasich's results.
Or less than Rubio's.
Well, Marco Rubio at 167 and John Kasich non-existent. But I think he's at about 143 or something like that.
Yeah, he's got 100 some. Nothing substantial. Even if you take the two, combine them together, it still doesn't put Cruz ahead of Trump, but it doesn't throw Trump ahead of enough to get to the 1237 that he needs. And he will need 1237. I don't care what people think. They're still going, rules are there. The rules are already been in place. Did they just make up 1237 yesterday? You don't get the 1237, you don't win the nomination.
Right. And that's the one thing I've been hearing from Priebus across the board. They've got people out there just, I think it was somebody was out there from one of the states, one of the delegates. And this guy is one of these guys that will be on the quote-unquote planning committee.
The rules committee, yeah.
Yeah, and he was making this claim that if Trump's within 50 or 60, delegates by the time he gets to the convention, he'll be able to get these unclaimed delegates and be able to go over the top. And see, that's what I was thinking Trump's strategy was with states like Colorado.
You need to get to 1237. I mean, it's just simple. I mean, it's written down. It's like, hey.
But Priebus is at least saying 1237 or nothing. It's 1237 or bust. And I think because Priebus knows what we all know here, is that this is going to go contested. This is going to go open, and from an open convention, it'll probably go into a contested convention.
Well, I mean, Trump's performance is playing that out. I mean, he didn't go in and work Colorado, so he didn't win anything in Colorado. He didn't work there. All right, he seems to at least be working his home state of New York. I don't know why, but he's going to go ahead and work there. He has to earn it, and that's just the bottom line: is you got to earn this. It's not going to be given to you just because your name is Donald.
Right, exactly. So, and now just kind of dancing back here, because the issue here, we talked at the very beginning of the show, we were talking about Clinton, and we were talking about whether she, how this could all play out here in terms of delegates on both sides.
It's just as ugly on that side, too.
Yeah, it's just as messed up on the left as it is right now. You've got 437 superdelegates out there that everybody's trying to determine where they're actually going to end up at.
And how do you determine these superdelegates? Do they wear capes?
Well, the superdelegates, if you don't know, if you're tuning in for the first time, then you probably don't know what they are. You may not know what they are. If you're liberal, you certainly don't know what they are. But these are unbound delegates that don't have to be loyal to anything or anybody. But the big catch here is they're all elected. They all serve in some government capacity, whether they be councilmen.
There you go.
School board people, whatever it is.
Governors.
People that live off the government tit. They rely on government funding for their campaigns and everything else. The DNC, which funds all these things, just like the RNC is supposed to fund Republican candidates that, have been chosen.
Yeah, once they've gotten to the point where, that's the candidate.
Right,
now, in a primary process, that's not what happens.
Yeah, and that'll be something to watch, too, even if Trump or Cruz end up getting a nomination. I'm wondering what the RNC is going to do with their money. Because we've already heard the likes of Karl Rove, who is an operative, say that there's going to be no money spent on the presidential election. That it's all going to be, they're all about trying to save the majority in the Senate, that kind of thing.
They're just going to go for the Senate, try to keep it, maintain the status quo again, and then let Hillary get in there, huh?
Right. So
I say it's Hillary because, look, folks, it's going to be Hillary.
Yeah, well, back to the thing with Clinton here, because she has a popularity problem too. See, here's the thing. I was just reading this morning, and this morning it was the articles that I was saying is that Trump has taken a little bit of a hit, and his popularity rating or his favorability rating, which was previously at 20 points, has dropped down to 13. So he's got a 13-point gap over Ted Cruz. Okay.
Yeah, it's never good.
Yeah. Okay. Still that's a sizable gap. But the point being is that he's taken some hits, and it could be. A lot of it has to do with this whole thing about Colorado, believe it or not. There's a lot of people out going, you know what? Quit crying in your beer. Move on. That kind of thing.
Thank you.
But now I'm looking here during the break, and I got people posting on our Facebook page talking about the fact that the polls released just minutes ago show Donald Trump increasing his lead over Ted Cruz. See, and what I'm getting, and it's all because of what? It's because of his sniveling. It's because he's out there screaming and crying. And this has been my whole point. This is what the point I was trying to make at the very beginning, is that Trump knows all he's got to do is whine, and all the people that support him are also whiners, and so everybody whines in unison. And in doing so, the media plays it up. The media loves this. It's great press for the media. It doesn't matter what's actually happening with the rest of the country. It's what Trump is pissed off about today. That kind of thing. That's what it's all about. What is Trump pissed off at today? And by the way, let's analyze why he's pissed off. Should he be pissed off? And by the way, we'll tell him that we think Trump is a baby, but we're going to spend our whole show talking as to why he's a baby. Okay, and in the meantime, nothing else gets discussed. Nothing else gets talked about.
Yeah, you don't hear about Russian fighters and helicopters buzzing our Navy personnel in the middle, over there by Poland, and you don't hear a thing about that.
No, and you don't hear about all the stuff that's got the Panama Papers. I've been sitting here for the better part of a week now trying to talk about the Panama Papers, and we'll probably do that tomorrow. But that's a big deal. That's a big deal. If you think the Trans-Pacific Partnership is a great deal, hey, we've got the model for you. The Panama Papers, the trade agreement between the United States, Panama, and Colombia. There's a lesson. And where did that come from? It came from Barack Obama, supported and promoted by Hillary Clinton. And this thing is a textbook example of what these trade agreements are really about. And it's not about trade. It's about pandering to the elite. It's about dealing with tax, what do you want to call them? Shelters, shell companies, things like this.
It also affects our own national sovereignty when it comes to certain things, because you have administrators, unelected bureaucratic administrators with this Trans-Pacific policy crapola, and wait for it. Just wait for it.
Yeah, and
what's happening? If you want to see a really good example of how it metastasized and what's it turned into, look at the European Union.
Yeah. Oh, that's exactly where it's headed. That's where it's going, because thief honor amongst thieves, I guess. The idea here, though, I'm just throwing this stuff out here as I'm thinking about it. It's coming to my head. Did you know? I just found this. The Clinton Foundation has about 30 or 40 shell companies in Delaware. And everybody knows they're a shell company. These are companies, this is what the Panama Papers is about. It's about creating shell companies to shelter and hide income, and so that you don't have to pay taxes. And this is something that the elite do. This is, I'll give you a very familiar phrase that you'll hear so you understand maybe the concept. Cayman Island bank accounts.
Yeah.
Swiss bank accounts. It's that kind of thing. The Clintons knowingly, and everybody acknowledges and knows and understands that they are hiding money in the Clinton Foundation. And we found, what did we find out here just a year and a half ago? Clinton Foundation misfiled their taxes. Remember that? It was like a blip. Oh, yeah, they misfiled their taxes. They owe money. And the next day we heard, they have filed. The stuff was put in the wrong category by their accountant or whatever. Well, this is what they do. They hide this money out there in all these shell accounts. And Panama was created. The Panama Papers, or the trade agreement between Panama and Colombia, was created for the purpose of allowing the elite in the world, the rich and wealthy, not just the United States, across the globe, to be able to hide money. So that unaccountable. In the case of the United States, it can't be taxed. In the case of Russia, where there is no taxes if you're in power, that kind of thing. So these are the things that are going on out there. And what are we talking about? We're talking about the latest tizzy fit by Donald Trump over something that he or his campaign should have known at the very beginning. And we're sitting here talking about it, and we know that we're being propagandized. We know we're being distracted, and we're still talking about it. Because what else are you going to talk about?
We could talk about, I don't know, what rained here today, but that's kind of boring. We could talk about Donald Trump all day. But the thing is, This story remains the same. It's the same old stuff with this now. I mean, people are, I know there's a few people I know just mentioned to me that this is crazy and they're sick and tired of it already. And it's what? It's not even May.
Yeah.
We haven't even hit the conventions yet. And check it out, people. The election's in November.
Right. Yeah, we're getting there. Okay, guys, we're at the bottom of the hour here. We got to run commercials here, and we'll continue. I really want to talk about this thing when we come back. I'm going to make it a point to do this. I want to talk about the problems that the DNC is having with Hillary Clinton in terms of favorability polls, because as we're talking about at the very beginning of the show, this is, I think, going to play much more into what's going on and why I think just a recommendation by the FBI that she be indicted will send this thing into overdrive on the left here. And how it's going to play out, who knows? We just know that it's going to happen. It's just a gut check. But right now, folks, it's time for Moments of Madness. We'll be right back. Today on Moments of Madness. Donald Trump's current claims after his loss in the Colorado caucus that the establishment has rigged the primary against him is nothing more than political theater to keep his sheep enraged, the media entranced, and his opposition neutralized. Trump and his campaign people knew the rules, or should have known them. These rules Colorado has employed to pick their nominee have been around since 1912, so the idea they were designed to keep him from obtaining the required 1,237 delegates is as absurd as his candidacy itself. The fact there are those in Colorado now claiming disenfranchisement only exemplifies the Gruber theorem. The stupidity of the American voter is in full effect. That said, what does bear noting, what continually upsets the GOP political establishment is not Trump's audacious personality, his confrontational demeanor, or his lack of political understanding of policy outside the concept of deal-making. They have shown a propensity for working around ineptness for at least 5 decades now. What upsets the establishment is the fact Trump is an establishment type who has decided to double-cross his, up to this point, pretty much out-of-sight co-conspirators. The fervor that now runs as rampant through the GOP establishment as a streaker at the Super Bowl reminds me of the second adaptation of the movie The Manchurian Candidate, released in 2004, starring Liev Schreiber as former Sergeant and now Congressman Raymond Shaw, Denzel Washington as Major Bennett Marco, Shaw's former commanding officer, and Meryl Streep as Congressman Shaw's mother, Senator Eleanor Iselin. The 2004 film updated the conflict and brainwashing to the Persian Gulf War in 1991, emphasized the science fiction aspects of the story by setting the action in a dystopian near future, coincidentally implied to be 2008, had a U.S. corporation called Manchurian Global as a perpetrator of the brainwashing and conspiracy instead of foreign communist groups, and dropped the Johnny Insulin character in favor of making both Shaw and his mother elected politicians. What I am reminded of when analyzing the current establishment reaction to Trump, and even Cruz to some degree, is an almost eerie portrayal of Shaw's mother, Eleanor, as an establishment type, willing to sacrifice her own son as a means to an end in the plot to have her own son become president by placing him on a ticket as VP, only to have the newly elected president assassinated on the night he wins the election, thus placing him in the White House, complete with a brain implant that causes him to do whatever his programmers want. I'm not saying Trump is a Manchurian candidate by any stretch. If he is, somebody certainly crossed their wires. I do, however, contend Trump is actually an establishment type that has decided to double-cross those with whom he once conspired, in this case the GOP establishment. In much the same manner, Congressman Shaw programmed his own assassination in lieu of the president-elect to put to an end the conspiracy to take over the government via a coup when he discovers he's being played as a pawn. It remains to be seen if Trump actually makes it all the way to the White House. I can't help but wonder if he does, who among the elites will be the one called to duty to take him out? Who knows? But then again, with all this going on, both sides of this contest, we might discover Uncle Bernie is really the Manchurian candidate. This is John Matthews for Moments of Madness.
You can catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification require cancellation fee, auto pay, and paperless billing and other restrictions apply. If you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Only Dish brings you the best in entertainment for less than $20 a month. Cut the cable and don't get directed. Switch to Dish because at just $19.99, Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. It's so simple. The same channels cost less with Dish. So since you can't see the difference, don't pay the difference. Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Get premium movie channels free for 3 months, starting at just $19.99. Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. Call now to save with Dish. Dial 1-800-600-1645. That's 1-800-600-1645. The same channels for less than $20 a month. Dish. Call 1-800-600-1645 for details.
Attention taxpayers! If you've received a notice from the IRS or state, do not ignore it. It's also a big mistake to try and handle your tax problem on your own. If you owe back taxes, it's a fact that the government has the power to take everything you own, including your home, business, wages, savings, and your freedom. But here's the good news. There's a special toll-free tax hotline set up especially for you. This tax hotline will tell you about new programs that are geared to help you dramatically settle, reduce, or eliminate what you owe. But you have to call now. Take down this number or put it in your cell phone. But call 866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959. When you call, you get free information on how you can reduce or eliminate back taxes, including penalties and interest. You can also be helped if you have unfiled returns, a tax lien, wage garnishment, bank levy, or if you have been entered into a payment plan but can't make the payments. Don't make the big mistake in thinking you can ignore or handle your tax problem on your own. You can stop the collection process immediately. Call this special tax hotline today for free info at 1-866-761-0959. That's 1-866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959. Okay,
hey, I got one for you. Here's a live wire here. We've been talking about all the insanity out there today, just kind of in our rambling way, the way that we sometimes do it on the show. I mean, it's not the first time we just kind of gone off the board. But I'm just sitting here at the break here, and lo and behold, I find something going on out there that just will really reiterate what I was saying earlier about how liberals reason and how they think and how they assign authority where authority does not exist, this, that, and the other. Democratic Senator Barbara Boxer out here from California is leaving the Senate, and there's more than enough people out here that could replace her tomorrow, and they wouldn't even lose stride. Loretta Sanchez is running for office out here. Camelia Harris, our current lieutenant attorney general out here. And so there's a whole load of liberal wackos just waiting in line to take over here. But she got into an argument with a priest over climate change.
Okay.
Okay. I got to share this with you because it just so well exemplifies. Now, this is about the Pope. She got into an argument with a priest on a panel they were having on climate change. And this is the same people that have ostracized the Pope for being anti-abortion. All right. But what happens here is she's talking to Reverend Robert Sirico from the Conservative Action Institute. And they're talking about climate change. Here's the exchange. So do you disagree with the Pope when he says that climate change is one of the biggest issues? He says, I'm very grateful for your defense of the Pope. Perhaps not in all of his magisterial authority and cherry-picking of this or that. Barbara snaps back at him. I can ask you what I want. Do you agree with the Pope on climate change? It's a simple yes or no. Because we know that last year Pope Francis published an encyclical. That means a catechism, which means in the Catholic Church, this is law. okay, blaming humans for global warming. When the Pope says things that have to do with science, he does not speak from the magisterial authority of the Church, Sirico replied. When he speaks on moral issues such as abortion and contraception and the like, then he speaks on magisterial authority, meaning under the authority of the Church. So who's cherry picking? You're saying that when the planet is facing all these problems, it's not a moral issue? That's Barbara Boxer's response.
Uh-huh.
He says, I never said that. Where did I say that? Can you give me that quotation, Senator? You just said it, she said. You received... Now, here's the punchline. She's talking to a priest. You received money from the Koch brothers, from Exxon, and you disagree with the Pope. I think you ought to have a talk with Reverend Herbert Nelson. And Sirico's reply is, who, by the way, is not a scientist. So we know now that Attorney General Loretta Lynch, this is why I bring this up,
yes,
is out to prosecute, looking at the avenues that the Justice Department would have to prosecute people that do not believe or deny the existence of climate change, man-made climate change. Let's put it that way. We refer to it here as changes in the weather.
I call it the weather, yes. This is straight. Oh, my goodness. You know what? Today it rained. Tomorrow it might not. That's a change. That's called weather.
And it might be hot this summer, and it might be cold next summer. You know, and we've also talked about the fact climate change is the new catch-all phrase for global warming, because global warming doesn't work anymore because the country is actually getting colder. Believe it or not, in some areas. We've got people talking back east in the middle of spring with snow and stuff like that. So they had to change it to climate change because that's more encompassing, and it's closer to the directive and the mandate, that the fact that man is screwing up the environment.
So man is screwing up the environment. So man has control over the environment,
right?
The weather.
Right. And we know that since the Pope is the hotline to heaven.
Yes, he's got there's a big cake dish over top that phone.
Yeah. So we know that this must be divine providence and divine intervention, that God is telling the Pope, hey, you got it right. You got it right. And my point being is, this is the same guy.
Get back to that line where she said, huh?
This is the same guy that people like Barbara Boxer ostracize and admonish for his position on abortion. And
well, it's against their position.
Yeah, because it's contrary to what they believe.
Yes.
Now, here's what it is. Now, I'm looking at a picture of Boxer here on the article here, and she has behind her a chart. I can read part of the chart, okay? And this is the point I wanted to make. We were talking earlier about how the media portrays everything that the liberals believe in as the consensus of the majority.
Yeah, everybody believes in this.
Everybody believes whatever they're saying. And so here we go. The chart behind her says something about, it looks like citizens want action on climate. And I can only read part of the chart because part of it's cut off. But here it is. The majority of people say the federal government should require limits on carbon pollution being generated by power plants. Okay, there's your attack on coal. 50% of the Republicans, I got these bullet points here. I don't know what the percentages of the independents, but then there's 79% of the Democrats support requiring states to limit the amount of carbon pollution that's being generated throughout the country and the world. Okay? So this whole thing is, the political side of it is what? We want to build a consensus that a majority of the people believe that there's something going on in the climate that man is responsible for. And my point is that you might look at these numbers and say, well, 57% of the Republicans. If you read the polls, I've read the polls on some of these things, and they're very ambiguous. They're things like, do you believe that man is polluting the world? It's within that context. Do you believe that man is responsible for pollution? Well, of course man is responsible for pollution. So if he's responsible for pollution, then he must be responsible for the changes in the climate. Okay? That's where you lose me. But it doesn't matter because we're going to bunch that all together in one statement. Do you believe that man is the problem that is the one creating pollution? And we believe that pollution is what's contributing to man-made climate change. We don't have any proof to back that up. But because we do all agree that pollution is hurting the country or the world, then it stands to reason that also the continuing contention that pollution is creating climate change and therefore it's all man-made is a relevant hypothesis, which we will now call a fact. We don't have any scientific data to prove it, but we have models by scientists, which, by the way, receive government funding to study this stuff.
Here's the other thing, John. And we also feel good about saying it.
Yeah, and we feel so good about saying it. Exactly. It makes us feel so good to think that we're saving the whales and saving the planet and saving the trees and everything else. If we got to worry about greenhouse gas, maybe we should start cutting down trees. You know, because that's where it comes from. It's not. I mean, don't trees take greenhouse gas and turn it into oxygen? Is that my understanding? Am I...
Photosynthesis. Let's see. Are we going to take that back to photosynthesis?
Yeah,
I think that was like fourth grade, third grade.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what the plants do to make oxygen. They take carbon dioxide and they make oxygen.
Yeah. So let me lay that against the a theorem I once heard from Dennis Miller. Okay, sure. I'm going to go a little bit long here. I want to get this out here because it's funny. Dennis Miller once brought to his conversation this idea: if the world will continue to use oil until at such time the world runs out of oil. Therefore, environmentalists should be thanking me that I drive an SUV that only gets 10 miles to a gallon, because therefore I will help burn up the oil faster.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, that's the same thing with the climate change stuff here. It's the same thing.
That's why I'm doing my part.
And it's all about promoting renewable energy, which is all about what we've talked about in this show, creative destruction, which is taking money out of one industry and funneling it into the pockets of others like Barbara Boxer, Al Gore, Dianne Feinstein, Barack Obama.
I just thought about that. That's like picking winners and losers, isn't it?
Oh, wow. What a concept. What a concept. Anyway, we got to go to a short break here. We got to go to a short break here. Stay with us right here at Conservative Syndicate. We'll be right back. You can catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
Prices are for base buildings only. May not be available in some areas. Attention business owners, do you want a stimulus package that really works? Before you spend thousands of dollars more than you should on your next building project, listen to this. General Steel has a stimulus package designed to help you save as much as half the cost of conventional construction on your next building. As much as half. That's right, General Steel can save you thousands of dollars with a pre-engineered steel building designed for your business or church. How about a 50 by 100 foot building for under $30,000? So don't pay thousands more than you should without calling General Steel first, and save as much as half the cost and time of conventional construction. With the projected demand for steel in Japan and China, prices may be skyrocketing.
877-927-3360. 877-927-3360. 877-927-3360.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardosa. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardosa Live, daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you'll get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decision concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosalive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosalive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Hey, we are back. The Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. We want to remind you, encourage you to visit our website, theconservativesyndicate.net. You can catch this show and any of our shows that we have recorded. You can find out about our panel members, myself, Joe Hakos, some of the other people that are involved in what we do here at the Conservative Syndicate. And just for glory purposes here, I want to take a moment here. I've been working a lot here in the last couple of days when time has allowed, touching base with our affiliates and finding out there's been some changes across the board with some of them. Some of them good, some of them maybe not so good, but we're watching these things all play out. And I thought it appropriate to just take a moment here and acknowledge our affiliates and those of you listening to us out there on Shake and Wake Radio, Patriot News Network, the 405 Media, which is local out here in California, just down the street from me, the Internet Conservative Radio Talk Network, which is new, Red State Talk Radio, High Plains Talk Radio, SHR Media, Roar Radio, and of course, any of you listening to us on our own Spreaker channel, the Conservative Syndicate. So those are all our affiliates, the people we're doing shows with right now. And between all these shows, we were able to garner somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 million listeners last year. So we just want to take our hats off to these affiliates who work very hard to keep their stations up and running and have honored us with the privilege of being part of their networks. Okay, so wanted to get that out there to all of you out there.
Big thank you.
Yeah, big thank you. Big thank you. And now, having said that, let's bring it back down to earth here a little bit.
Just bring it back down to earth. We might have to start the show, John. I forgot all about this, but, we could just by talking offend somebody and make them run and hurt themselves looking for their safe place. So we might have to put a disclaimer out there at the beginning of the show. I don't know, because I don't want to hurt any of these poor youngins that are so sensitive that we could hurt their feelings, saying things that, like Hillary Clinton sucks and Bernie Sanders a madman who thinks that is promising you things that can't happen because he can't pay for them. We could hurt their feelings, and I'd feel really bad if we hurt their feelings, John. Just saying.
Yeah. Well, I
just
certainly.
I'd feel real bad about it. I'd say, suck it up, Buttercup. This is called the world.
Yeah. Life happens. Life happens. Get used to it.
People are out there, and as what do you mean climate change doesn't exist, Barbara?
Well,
Your Eminence, please.
I like to look at it this way.
Put a word in for me with the big guy as I try to steer people the wrong way and steal from them, basically.
Well, I look at it this way: when you try to regulate and legislate God, you run into a problem here, and where you're going to end up at, climate change isn't going to make any difference.
Yeah, it's going to be one temperature. Hot!
Yeah, we'll have the great deal maker Donald Trump down there trying to sell you air conditioners. All right?
which I just see the federal government wants to regulate your air conditioner, your portable air conditioner. I just saw an article about that because they have to meet certain standards. Seriously, so the next thing you know, people are going to be dying in the street in the middle of the heat wave next summer because they couldn't afford the air conditioner because they've been overpriced because of federal government regulation. But it's okay. The government's good for me. So the government should give you what? The government should give you air conditioning, education, a roof over your head, and health care.
Right, along with your free internet.
Okay. Oh, I forgot about the internet. So much more. How about a plane? Are you allowed to ride the train?
Well, I've been watching, I mentioned this several times on the show here during the course of the time I've been on the air. One of my favorite channels, the Filipino channel.
The Filipino channel.
And I love watching the Filipino news because they have two different types of news programs, one after the other. They have the regular, what they call the patrol, news patrol, which is things pertaining to things going on in the Philippines.
Okay.
And they're in the midst of an election right now, too. And presidential election. They have like 7 or 8 people running, and they don't run primaries. They just run, everything is geared towards the general election. And what's really interesting is that they don't run on tickets either. They have a ticket. Like the guy running for president might want to pick somebody as his or her vice president nominee, but the people vote on him differently. So you can have the president from one party, and the vice president can be from a completely different party. The way we used to do it in the very beginning in this country.
I recall us doing that a long time ago in our nation.
Yeah. So the top 2 vote getters. The first one was president, second one was vice president. But what they do is now, what has been going on over here lately, over there, is that the candidate that's leading the polls right now, and by the way, the one that is at the bottom is everybody that's associated with the current president, Benito Aquino. He's not popular over there right now because he's gutless. The guy's got no guts. He's kind of like Jimmy Carter. And so anyway, the guy that is popular right now sounds, when you listen to him talk, he sounds very much like Donald Trump, believe it or not.
Go figure.
He says things like he was a mayor of a city there that had the highest crime rate in the country, and within 4 years is now the lowest crime rate. And
whatever did he do?
He says things like, "If we catch you doing anything wrong, we hang you."
We're going to hold people accountable for their actions. Oh my goodness!
Yeah, well, if you're caught raping somebody, they kill you. We find you guilty of being raped, they kill you. They feed you to the alligators out there. That kind of stuff. And this guy is going over gangbusters. Well, the establishments back there, of course, are all upset. They're upset, because this guy, he swears when he talks.
Is this on the soap operas or the news?
Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing. I made you do a piece on the show about it just to kind of, because I always look at the Philippines kind of a microcosm of what's going on over here in the United States. What we do over here affects what they do over there. But the point I'm getting at, one of the things that's been happening here over the last couple of weeks is Al Gore has been hanging out in the Philippines. And he's going to all these little summits and these meetings and everything. And the Filipino channel news, they're very progressive. They're very progressive into the government thing. But they also, the one thing that's interesting about their networks over there, they do more for the people in terms of distribution of food and things like that. When they have calamities, you see the networks out there giving tons of food to these people, helping to rebuild the schools. It's not the government. It's the TV networks. It's amazing to watch. Anyway, my point being is Al Gore's over there trying to promote climate change. And he is like God over there, that kind of thing. The second news show they have is called Balitang America. And that is a news show over here. It's centered up in San Francisco. And they talk about the effects of the American government on Filipinos. Okay. These guys are very, very pro Hillary Clinton, and so it's a real. And then climate change is a big deal. It's a massive deal. It's a big money making deal in the Philippines, and so it's just an example, a small microcosm of what the climate change is all about. It's about money. It's about making money, and it's about using the government to make money. That kind of thing.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, hey, we are done for the day. I mean, that went by fast here. I had a lot of fun today. I don't know if I had any deep thoughts or any deep points, but so what? You can't be deep every single day, for crying out loud.
But you can always put on the other channel and just listen about Donald Trump all day, all night.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you anything the worst of what we talked about here is better than what you're hearing out there right now. I can tell you that. So we'll be back tomorrow, Friday. And we are going to talk, I think, tomorrow about the Panama Papers. I really want to kind of at least get this out there. We may not get the whole thing covered because it is kind of extensive when you start getting into it. But we're going to do that. So God bless you all. Thank you for your loyalty, listening to us, putting up with us in some cases. And we'll be back on the air tomorrow, 3 o'clock out here in the West Coast, 6 on the East Coast. God bless you all. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in to this edition of the Conservative Syndicate, the globally syndicated, politically incorrect talk show that seeks to tear down the imaginary wall of separation between church and state. We want to make you aware you can find and access all of our show archives at our website, theconservativesyndicate.net, as well as our broadcast stations and times. That's the conservativesyndicate.net. We so appreciate you taking time to tune in, and we so look forward to continuing to bring you the best and uncompromised talk radio available on the net today. And remember, folks, it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down in life. It only matters how many times you get up.
I'm John Matthews, signing off until next time, right here on the Conservative Syndicate. God bless you, and may God continue to bless America.